welcome to another week of Out of the Box Gaming, a podcast where we talk about games. Why? Because we want to, and because we think that we have something to say that you may want to hear. I am your host, Nick Picard, and joining me is the good from The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, Will Kinsey.
Hey, that one was fun. That was a good one this week.
Oh, just you wait.
Oh, just wait.
Oh.
Well,
Well, yeah, we want to force our love of games on you and maybe even introduce you guys to something new. Or not, that's cool too. But we also want to hear from you guys, so feel free to drop topic ideas and discussion questions that you want to hear us talk about.
all right. Now, please welcome our producer, Lindsay, to start us off with our trivia question for this episode.
Hey guys, I think this trivia question is going to be easier. Make sure you don't look at my computer screen, Nick, because the answer's right there. So it says LCS is the acronym for a professional esports league centered around which game? LCS is the acronym for a professional esports league centered around which game?
Okay, I'm pretty sure I know.
I think y'all will get this one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is pretty easy.
Yeah.
Which is good, because the last, three have been really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get better.
Well, if you guys want to think on that question, we'll come back to it at the end of the episode. And if you guys are watching live, go ahead and comment your answer. And remember, no cheating. So, what have you been playing this week, Nick? I know we've gotten to actually do more gaming this week.
Yeah, I've actually been playing quite a bit. Let's see. I guess started off, I finally got to play some Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Woo woo.
I think it was last week on Saturday. I went and got it later in the evening. And so I've been playing that. I very much enjoy it. I know last week we talked about our predictions for Game of the Year, and after playing this, I really think that one potentially could be a winner. Definitely would be a nominee. It's very enjoyable. Obviously been playing, some Overwatch. There was a new event going on this week. It's for a new Sigma skin. He looks like a conductor of for music and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I saw that when you were streaming the other day.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Finally got the wins to be able to get that skin. Played some Fortnite for challenges. I know Lindsay's been wanting to play it more. She even played some without me.
Yeah.
And then, well, as you know, Will, yesterday I started playing Ghost of Tsushima because you did tune in to me streaming. So, which that game, man, that was a lot of fun. I have died a couple times. Especially, there was one part I came across the enemies, and I was like, oh, these guys look different, and they seemed much harder than the other ones that I faced. And I died fairly quickly, and there was a lot more than what I was used to. But I think the thing that made it harder was I did a standoff to begin with, and I lost the standoff, surprisingly.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. I don't... Normally the standoff seems pretty easy, but that one, for some reason, I lost, and I wasn't really sure why, but yeah. But yeah, I think that was what I mostly been playing, other than, the normal of, the daily Animal Crossing. And there was the party game, or the, classic board game thing that I told you last week that Lindsay and I got. We played some of that.
Oh, yeah.
On the Switch.
Yeah, on the Switch.
Why do I keep trying to call it the Wii?
I don't know.
It's not. It's no.
Yeah. Well, what have you been playing this past week, Will?
Well, you already know. I have been playing a whole heck ton of Kerbal Space Program. Shout out to Alex for giving me that game. I finally got into orbit, which I think I mentioned last time. I've landed on the moon and I have come back, and I have positioned a mobile science processing unit in a self-sustaining orbital satellite around my planet. So I'm doing a lot of things in that game and wasting many hours of my life
Yeah,
on it, but it's super fun.
it seems like you've done a lot because I know last week after we got done with the podcast, we played some, and you were just trying to get into orbit or stay in orbit or something, and now you're on the moon.
Yeah. Well, so it's easier to get on the moon and come back than it is to have a self-sustaining orbital satellite, because you have to get it's all about electricity and stuff, especially if you have a science processing center that draws so much electricity. Like, I had to custom make a service bay that was just full of batteries, just a crap ton of batteries, just to power this thing, and then covered the entire outside in solar panels. But it works, and it never loses power, and it just constantly sends science my way. So it's just constantly, it's a science farm.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw a couple of those up and then keep farming science. But yeah, it was very difficult. It took me 4 tries. Each time it would run out of batteries or something terrible would happen, and yeah, it was very bad. And trying to re-enter with a giant satellite that doesn't have a whole lot of slowdown power, it's scary. Um, but yeah, so other than that, mostly, well, yeah, mostly just that. And then our role plays,
Oh yeah, I
which I
forgot about that.
believe at least one of them was streamed. But we
Yes,
did play
ours.
our 5e campaign today, or not today, this week, which was fun. We went down a hole. I think that was the whole session,
Yep.
right? We went down a hole.
Yep.
Um, and then we did Mutants and Masterminds, where I made you guys face off against a monster truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were determined to not have that car chase, but you were
No,
determined
no.
to
I think
have it.
he was very determined to have it.
Yeah. We tried.
The fact that I flipped it
Yeah.
over, and then you're like, no, I want to flip it back over and take off the roof. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that thing. So you guys are each power level 10 still. That thing was power level 14 or 15.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very powerful. But yeah, so that was really fun. And what about you, Lindsay? What have you been playing?
Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
No
we're
one asked me, so
yeah,
I wrote it in.
10 episodes in, and now we're asking Lindsay.
Well, as Nick mentioned, I did play some Fortnite without him.
I think
My
I heard
last,
some of that on the stream.
yeah, my last game, I placed second. I came into a guy who had a charged shotgun. He would charge it up. He would shoot at me. Most of the time he missed. Then before I could shoot, he would throw a wall up right in front of me, which I guess strategy-wise is pretty decent. And we just went around like that for a while, and he got me quartered into the storm for a little bit, but I made it out, and then he killed me. But the worst part of it all was his flipping donkey laugh emote that he used right after he killed me.
Yeah, that thing will trigger people more than
Dance
anything.
on me all you like, but the donkey laugh, no. It's, I did play a game that came out on, free on PlayStation this month. One of the free games. It's called Erica. It's a really cool concept. It's an actual, like, movie. Like,
Yeah.
it's not animated. Like, they filmed the actors doing this. But you get to make choices and solve this mystery, which I'm all into, but it turned out a little creepier than I was expecting. there was some cult-like things going on in there, but made it past that. It only took about 2 hours, though, or a little less, to beat the game, but you can always go back and make different choices and get different results, I suppose. But it was really cool. Like, you link up your phone to it, and you use your phone instead of the controller because it's a lot of, like, swiping and stuff. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, maybe I'll play that on stream one day.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Played some Overwatch as usual with Nick. I played some by myself yesterday to get my Sigma skin, get the rest of my wins, and
Yeah, which the other day we played some comp, just Lindsay and I, and it was just a whole lot of nothing, as in like our SR. Like, it seemed like we won the same amount of games that we lost, so we just kind of stayed put, and it was kind of frustrating.
Oh,
Yeah,
I heard you
we-
mention that near the end of the stream.
we would win and then we'd lose
Lose
and
and
we'd
win and lose.
and-
Yeah, it was kind of frustrating. I think it was the last game. It just kind of annoyed me. I don't even remember what happened in the last game.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people in that game, they just really need to learn how to play.
I remember your Sigma was trash and their Winston was good. Those were two of the big things near
Yeah,
the end.
and
That
I
were
don't-
frustrating.
And I don't really know what's been going on. It just seems like anytime something, like if the enemy team is struggling, a Winston comes in. And I remember if I play Winston, I die so quick. But
Yeah,
any
I'm
enemy
terrible at
Winston,
Winston.
it's just like impossible to kill them. And I just don't get it. But
And that particular Winston was, I think, good about going after the healers, which was us.
and we didn't have, a tank or anyone to peel for the healers. So that was very annoying. So we would die and they would have no heals, and then all we would hear is, I need healing, I need healing, I need healing. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, be aware that your healers died and are coming back from spawn. So
Yeah. Nothing frustrates me more, and we had this happen a couple times, is when people leave a comp game.
it
Like,
makes no
if you
sense.
have technical difficulties, I understand it's literally out of your control. But if you're just salty and you're like, we're not going to win this, I'm just going to leave. Why? Because you still receive a loss, and then you get the penalty on
penalized.
top of that. So just play it out, because you never know.
Yeah.
You might win.
Yeah, we even had one leave when
We were winning, weren't we?
it was a cough map, King of the Hill, where we won one round, and then they won one round, and then the person left. It's like,
Yeah.
well, why'd you leave? We have one more round, and I mean, we could have won. And I feel like we definitely would have had a chance of winning because we were down a person and we took over the point twice. So if we had that extra person, we would have been able to hold it and potentially win, but,
Oh, well.
yeah. Sometimes it's frustrating, especially dealing with, people that just don't seem that great and they don't try or they just don't understand, but yeah. So, anyways, going on with the
Getting off my rant.
yeah, let's get off the rant. Going on to our main topic for this episode is we are basically talking about Ubisoft. We want to focus on them because they recently had a conference and it showed us several new games as well as some like game updates. If you haven't checked it out, I highly suggest go and watch it. I know the one link that I watched, it was like 3 hours long, but I just skipped ahead wherever they started, which is like maybe an hour and a half in. And then it was all the stuff, like the new stuff was about like, 30, 45 minutes or whatever. So, yeah, so we have a few things that we want to, talk about. I don't know where we would want to start. Will, is there any particular game that you would want to start talking about?
Well,
Yeah,
Gosh, man, there were some really good ones. One that I'm extremely interested in, which is kind of, I don't know, it's probably really silly, but it's in that like mobile gaming kind of realm that I've really been enjoying lately. It's the Tom Clancy's Elite Squad.
I don't even know if I watched stuff about that. Was that in the
Yes.
the pregame?
Maybe.
Okay.
I've been hearing about it for a while, and then they put up a little teaser about it during the event.
Free to play.
But it's one of the,
Sound
the typical. I hope it's not as like cash grabby and pay to win as some of the other games, but it's like Galaxy of Heroes where you set up a team of 5, except it's all characters from the Tom Clancy universe or
Okay.
universes. So like Rainbow Six characters, Ghost Recon characters, Division characters, but most importantly, Splinter Cell characters.
Okay.
So you can have Sam Fisher, which is awesome. And speaking of that, when are we getting a new Splinter Cell game? The last one was 2013. But yeah. Obviously, I guess you didn't really see it or know much about it, so we can't talk a whole lot about it.
Well,
But I am looking forward to that one.
we're watching the trailer as we speak. So
Okay.
yeah. I
Like
mean,
the art style.
the art style looks
seems-
really good.
Yeah, yeah. It's like cartoonish enough.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure it is just mobile and tablet. Yeah. So for it being a mobile game, like that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a game that I would, play on like console or something. Because it looks, cute and fun. Yeah. Yeah.
The trailer
Good.
shows a little bit more action than I think it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it'll just
Okay.
be sort of that old school Final Fantasy style where they stand in one place, you choose a move, and
The
then they do the move.
turn base.
Yeah, turn-based combat. I'm
Okay.
fairly certain it's going to be that. But that
Okay.
could surprise us.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of games out on mobile that are, like high intensity of, gameplay. Because I know there's that Call of Duty mobile game or whatever that kind of looks like a normal Call of Duty map or like game.
Yeah, I think they do. They also have, I think, PUBG Mobile
And Fortnite.
Fortnite?
Yeah.
Fortnite Mobile now?
Yeah, it's been mobile for a couple years now. I know I played like a game on it or whatever. I'm just not big. I'm not big on mobile games like that or whatnot. So
The kids from the village that I used to go to in Alaska, I remember them posting things about playing Fortnite on their phones because none of them had computers, but they had finally all gotten phones. So they started playing Fortnite on their phones, and that was how they started getting into gaming.
okay. I mean, it's
Which
cool.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You'll
So
have to tell me about the whole Alaska thing because I'm lost on that. You can tell me later.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, that was a wonderful and confusing time in my life. But Nick, what have you been looking forward to, or what did you see in the event that stood out to you?
Well, there's a couple games that I would definitely talk about. I guess I'll start off with the Watch Dogs Legion. Like I know I said before, I've never actually played Watch Dogs. I know the first one, it had like I heard that there was like human trafficking in it and stuff like that, and I was like, I don't really want to, have to see or deal with any of that because that's not good. But the Legion, I don't know what E3 that they showed it, like they first showed, but I was kind of intrigued where you can basically play as anybody. I know you can like look at someone, I think hack them or whatnot, but you can recruit about anyone in the game, and you can play as them. Like whenever you go to missions, you can, depending on that character's like skill or whatever they have, you can tackle that mission in a different way. Like if the one character is like very sneaky or uses gadgets, you can just like use that. Or if there's one that is just, you know what, I'm gonna be John Wick with a gun and like a spy kind of person and just kind of go in and like destroy everyone in your path. Or if there's just someone that is, I know in the trailer they showed like you play as a construction worker that he can hack some things, but he had like a giant like pipe wrench or whatever in his hand that he was using to clobber people.
But didn't they put real people in this game?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, I don't know exactly what real people. I know after I watched the conference, there was a guy on YouTube that he got like 4 hours of gameplay. They wanted him to play it and then make a video, but he couldn't with his time schedule. So instead, they just gave him like 4 hours of gameplay for him to watch, and then they told him that he can make a 20-minute video. So when he was playing it, he was saying that, at one point, they were going to put him in the game, and he doesn't know if that was going to happen. And like he just kind of like mentioned it in there, but didn't really talk about it. And I was like, oh well, that's cool that they would put him in the game, and if they would put him, then they would put like a bunch of other people.
Apparently, there's about 9 million playable characters in this game.
Man, that's a lot.
So,
but I know not from the gameplay that they showed in the event, which by the way, in the event, the trailer that they showed before, it was like a cinematic trailer. I did not like that at all. It was mostly the art style or whatever. It bothered me. Which I know I asked Lindsay, I was like, did you like that art style? She said, no, I did not like that at all.
it was
I don't know. I mean,
it was very fast. I don't know.
I don't know. It kind of looked like it looked like it was trying to do the art style of Spider-Man into the multiverse or whatever. Is that what that movie's called? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like it was trying to do that art style, but it was worse. It was bad. But yeah, they didn't show like a lot of gameplay with it. I mostly watched the dude on YouTube, his gameplay, and from the start, the gameplay looks really good, and it like I may actually play that one. I know whenever it started, the guy that was being played was like a spy type of person or whatever, and he wouldn't kill anybody. He would just want to knock them out unless they would shoot at him, and then he would start to kill them. But the combat, like with the fist and kicking and stuff, it had like a little slow motion thing with it. It looked really cool. But then later they started shooting him, so he started shooting back, and it felt like you were John Wick of how like precise, or the gunplay, like run up on somebody, you would like kick them, they would fall down, then you would like blow their head off or whatever. It looked really cool. Yeah, the game looked very interesting, and I might actually play it. It does take place in London, if you didn't know that, but yeah, it looked really cool. Did you watch stuff on that?
I did indeed. It looks fantastic. That little beginning sequence, I actually enjoyed it. Like I thought the animation was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the game seems like it'll be even more than the previous games. Just like more all around.
I never did play the previous games, like I said, but I will mention Ubisoft had a thing where if you actually tuned in to this event, that they were going to give you Watch Dogs 2 for free. but then they had complications, and people weren't getting the game as they were like promised or whatever. Like, I don't know what happened, but then it was like the next day they announced, hey, yeah, we had trouble with all this, but we're just going to give Watch Dogs 2 for free for anyone if they go in and like, sign in and say, hey, they watched it or whatnot. So I was able to get Watch Dogs 2 for free on PC. And if you haven't done it, I don't know if you're still able to do it or not. But if you just like look it up or whatever, there'll probably be a link for you to be able to do it, and then it should show up in your Uplay on PC within a few days or whatnot. But yeah, so yeah, I have Watch Dogs 2, and I probably will play it sometime. I just don't know when.
That's pretty great. Yeah, I when I was watching the video, a live stream that's on YouTube, like everything in chat is just people being super mad that they can't log in. I guess like they couldn't log in to claim it during the stream.
Yeah.
So like hashtag can't log in was like being spammed in chat.
Well, I mean, they turned around, they gave it to like everyone, so I mean, I'm not mad at them. Like, I totally forgot about the event, and I was like, oh darn, I guess I won't get the game. I mean, I was like, I'm still gonna watch it, and I did. And then when I found out that they just gave it out, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll still get it then.
According to what I see, the 15th was the last day to get it for free.
Oh, well.
They did it for like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, okay. Well, I was lucky enough to still get it, so yay. But yeah, did you see? I guess you watched all of the Watch Dogs Legion. How did you really like the gameplay? I guess if you just watched the event, it only showed you like that construction worker and some of the other like characters that they kind of showed off.
Yeah, I'm excited about the different play styles for the different characters. And I didn't get to see a whole lot of it. I sort of like skimmed through it, was like, oh, that's really cool, and watched little bits of it. But yeah, it looks phenomenal. The world just looks great. Which one was it with the zappy thing?
Was it like a little robot thing that someone was controlling?
Yeah. With the little, I don't think it's a laser, but it looks like a laser.
I don't know. There was the one character where she basically was using just a bunch of gadgets, like little drones, a little spider mechanical thing that can crawl around. And I think on that, she was using the spider, crawled on someone, and then like zap them or whatnot.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, which this game was supposed to come out. I feel like it was already supposed to be out, but they had to push it back to October now, which I'm fine with. They should definitely take their time because this seems like a big game that they would need to get right, especially with the, how many did you say, 9 million playable characters?
That's what the internet told me. Whether or not that's true.
So, I mean, I would assume that some of the characters in there are going to be similar play style, because I don't think you can come up with 9 million different play styles. If you can, then I am very impressed. But yeah, and I know, like, they kept showing in the trailer that, you could play as this old woman. It was like, I'm thinking, oh, it's kind of cool and funny, but I don't really care if I would play as this old woman or whatnot.
You don't want to be an old woman? Don't forget Anna's an old woman in Overwatch.
It's true.
Boom. Yeah. And she's a great support, or she was when I was playing. I don't know.
Yeah, she's still good. She's still good.
Okay, cool.
Especially, if you face a good Anna, they're very annoying.
See, so, old women, they can be great characters.
Yeah, but I mean, I just feel like they kept trying to, they really wanted to show, hey, you can play as this old woman, you can play as this old woman. They were like trying to, very, very much like, get it, like shove it down your throat. Hey, you can play as this old woman. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll, get away from Watch Dogs now. I've said all I need to say on it. So what's another game that you saw that interests you?
Well, they talked a lot about. I know it's not well, it's new-ish. Hyperscape.
Yeah.
I still haven't downloaded or played it. I'm actually looking at the screen right now with the download button. It might hit it. But it looks really fun. I like the extremely urban environments that it's got going on. And the art style is fun. It's got the sliding and some of the mobility of Apex, which
Yeah.
I always really liked about Apex. But for some reason I couldn't really get into it that much. Like I played Apex quite a bit. Like Mirage was my main. I really enjoyed it, but I couldn't really get into it, but I really enjoyed the mobility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe Hyperscape will like scratch that itch and maybe even be a better game, but who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. If any of y'all, listening, if you don't know what Hyperscape is, it's Ubisoft's new free-to-play first-person shooter that is a battle royale game. They decided to, venture into the battle royale universe, which,
Because who hasn't?
yeah, I mean, I don't blame them because, all these battle royale games are
Popular.
still very popular. Like, the Call of Duty, Fortnite, I guess PUBG is still popular. But yeah, so I'm not surprised that they have ventured their way into making their own. Apparently the game, which I didn't really know about, people that are on Twitch viewing, they can affect the outcome of the match. I don't know really how that works.
I'm really curious about that.
I think there's like a voting system in there from what Lindsay was telling me. It's apparently a core part of the game as a whole. It lets streamers connect their game to their broadcast for a truly interactive way to play. It's just something I'm reading right now. Turns Hyperscape into something of a... Okay, but yeah, I'm not really sure how it works. I think you have to download something to be able to do it, but yeah. Last night I watched a streamer play like a match and a half. So, I mean, I haven't personally played it myself. I know it's in my Uplay. I haven't actually downloaded it. But from the game, from what I've seen, it looks interesting. It looks a bit different. It was very, very, very fast-paced, especially how that streamer was playing. And I kind of like that. Definitely would have to get used to. I mean, obviously I wouldn't go in and be able to run around as quick as that person, but it was very fast-paced, more fast-paced than like Call of Duty or Fortnite or PUBG. Maybe, I don't know about Fortnite with all the building because they can be pretty fast, but yeah. But I know as a character, you're moving around pretty fast. You have different like hack abilities. From what I know, this dude, he kept taking a thing called Slam, which he was using that to get around the map. Like he would try to use it to like jump up in the air or something, or be in the air longer, trying to get places that you couldn't really get to. Yeah, I'm looking at a thing. Yeah, he would definitely use the slam to definitely get around. I think that just fit his play style. There's a teleport hack where you can just teleport into the air and then try to get somewhere else. There's a heal hack, which would, it just puts like a down an AoE thing that will heal you over time. There's a wall hack that you can like just put up a wall to block people off if you're chasing them. Invisibility, obviously you just go invisible. There's a mine hack ability where you throw down a mine and I think it like seeks out somebody. There's armor, just gives you armor. A reveal hack is kind of like it just lets you see I guess, in Apex. You know how there's what was his name, Bloodhound?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's like that. Then there's this ball hack. Turns yourself into a bouncing ball.
That looks fun.
Yeah, you're in a giant ball and you just kind of bounce around. And then there's this shockwave where you send a shockwave out, sending enemies flying. So it's a way to get them just kind of off their game. Because if they're just standing there in front of you, if you put that and it like bounces them up, then they're just kind of like, oh no, I'm up in the air, and then you can
Would
just
you
shoot
say
them.
they're shocked?
Yeah. You get the game looks a lot of fun. It was kind of cool how when you would get your weapon, it just kind of like came out of thin
Yeah,
air.
You're pulling it out.
It's like, yeah, you're pulling it out of the air. It looked really cool. The dude that we were watching, he was I mean, he looked pretty good. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the gameplay, but it looked like he was pretty good at it.
Now, can you play in like squads, or
I think
is it
it's
all solos, or?
I know you can play in squads, and I think it's squads of 3, so like Apex.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you could do solo. I don't see why the game wouldn't have a solo option.
Yeah, they have a solo option.
Okay, which I don't understand why Apex doesn't have a solo option, but
they have 4 game modes in the open beta: Crown Rush Squad, Crown Rush Solo, which Crown Rush is like, I think, the main mode. You're like, I think the whole thing is you have to get a crown.
yeah.
But then they have Hack Runner Squad and Turbo Mode Squad. Not sure what those last 2 are, but they sound fun.
Yeah. Now my question is can you connect a controller to the computer and play it with a controller?
Most likely.
Because if you know me, I'm not the best with mouse and keyboard. Especially of how fast that game looks.
Yeah. This looks like a game that I would have trouble playing because of how fast-paced it is.
I mean, I definitely want to try it. I mean, well, I'll be up for playing it with you sometime.
So there's 2 crown cast things that I've seen. I think I've seen people use. There's haste, which makes everything in the game faster.
Oh, wow.
That's what I need.
And then it looked like there was something where a whole bunch of like restoration nodes were like fell down, and like everyone was healing. But I don't know if that was real or if that was just something weird that I saw, because this game has a lot of stuff going on. But I'm watching some gameplay right now. But yeah, the haste one looks scary.
I guess the only thing that was just kind of like off, it just seemed like the buildings you would go in were almost like all similar of how it looked.
Yeah.
Where the items are, I mean, I don't want to say it looked bad, but I mean, it just didn't look, great. But I mean, I guess they're still working on it and stuff. I mean, this is fairly new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you like fast-paced games and you're enjoying Battle Royale, I suggest, trying it out at least.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know from what Lindsay and I saw last night, whenever the dude would actually shoot somebody, it didn't seem like it takes, 3 clips like it would in Apex. Like it actually, registered, oh, hey, I got hit and I'm taken down quite a bit. So, yeah.
So, it looks like with the Crowncast game mode, that's where the viewers are voting for these events.
Okay.
Which I guess I feel like someone in your game would have to be streaming in order for that to happen. Like, I don't know. But I know, like, one event I saw was low gravity.
Oh, yeah.
And so you could jump even higher and land softer and whatnot. But it didn't look like there was any sort of fall damage. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I've seen people do some huge, like, there's these big boosters that catapult you into the air.
Yeah. like little launch pads that are on the map or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, gameplay looks good, so I know I was interested whenever it first came out, and I watched a streamer, and I got the code thing to be able to play it, but now it's open beta where anyone can play it. So, and then I think it had a battle pass like all these other games, and I think it said something about the first 30 tiers are free. So
You can also, if you use Crowncast and you watch a streamer, you can level up your battle pass just by watching a streamer. I think that's what they said, which seems like it could be abused. So they may have taken that away, but I feel like I read that somewhere.
I mean, it kind of seems like they're
extent.
really trying to get people to watch, streamers play the game.
And they're trying to get people to stream the
and
game.
then they're trying to get people to stream the game, and they're trying to get people to watch the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, seems like they're going way out of the way to get this game out there and recognized, and yeah.
Here it is right here. You can now progress your battle pass by watching a streamer with Crowncast activated for up to 2 tiers a day. So you can only gain 2 tiers a day.
Okay.
But you can gain 2 tiers a day just by watching a streamer.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think...
however much you want to on top of that by playing, I guess.
I can't think of a game that's done anything like this before. I mean, it's a great way to get people interacting with it. And
Oh, come on, Lindsay. Twitch plays Pokemon. The OG. The original.
I said I couldn't. I didn't say you couldn't think of anything.
Oh, did you never see Twitch plays Pokemon?
No.
I don't think I have either.
Oh my gosh. Do you know what it was? Either of you?
No.
Pokemon? That's my...
And, Twitch plays it?
It is Twitch. So I don't remember exactly how they had it set up, but they had Twitch inputs, like anything anyone put into chat would go and be an input into this software that was reading it all, and would then put those inputs into, I think it was Pokemon Red, or it was one of the old Pokemon games. But they ended up beating Pokemon with random inputs because, it'd be thousands of people just putting up, down, A, B, start, and like it would choose randomly among those. I think it would choose the most typed in. So it would take the most used of the last 20 or 30 seconds.
Was there only certain inputs you can put in? Because I know there was some people probably watching that were putting just absolute nonsense.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
But it became such a huge cultural thing. Like people were choosing sides and making false gods of the Pokemon that had been chosen. Like at one point there was an extremely, I think it was an Ammonite or something that people were excited about. This was years ago, but it was hilarious. But it was thousands of people playing a single game.
That's really cool.
I stand corrected.
All right.
But it's never been done this efficiently and
Yeah.
There we go.
responsibly.
That's what I said.
All right. I guess we're gonna move on to another game.
Can we talk about Valhalla yet?
I mean, do you want to talk about Valhalla right now?
I'm so
can totally
excited
talk about
for
Valhalla.
Valhalla.
Okay, we'll talk about Valhalla.
Yeah.
I'll let someone
First
else.
of all-
I'll let someone else go first on this. I have.
Actually, we'll let Lindsay go first.
Yeah,
She's-
Lindsay, go ahead.
Okay. I know. I'm just so excited for this game. I'm having a hard time remembering what I saw in there and what you showed me in gameplay. I think it's awesome. Well, Nick corrected me that you could choose between a male or female on a previous game.
On the last one, honestly.
But I think that's awesome. She looks terrifying, the female version. I don't remember how you pronounce the name.
I don't either.
The
I know a
main
lot of people
character.
were, from what I've heard, were kind of annoyed of how the guy's character sounded with how he looked. So I think a lot of people are going to be picking the female character for this game.
I think isn't it the same name for both? It's like Eivor
Yes.
or something?
Yeah. The scenery just is beautiful. You know, the parts that weren't just all blood and gore. And I think what the story was, they're moving from...
What, Norway?
Yes! I knew it started with an N.
Norway.
From Norway, and they're finding a new home. It looks awesome. You can dual wield any two things you want to dual wield.
Even two shields.
Even two shields.
That
Just
right
two
there.
smashing boards.
Yes. I probably don't have as much to say as you guys. I'm just so excited.
So, in summary, it looks awesome for Lindsay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah.
In case you didn't get that.
Yeah. What about you, Will?
Yes. Big excitement, big excitement. I like that it has elements of all the different types of foes Vikings could have possibly gone up against. I really hope that they don't put too much of a stereotypical Viking spin on things, because there's a lot of things that are stereotyped about
Like what?
Vikings that aren't real. Well, so the British actually had a problem with Vikings because Vikings bathed more than once a week and like combed their hair and took care of themselves and actually had greater hygiene and were more attractive than the British men, and they were mad because they would take their women. That is historical fact.
Okay.
Well, I remember them saying that one of the game developers or somebody said, you know, they aren't just barbarians.
No, they're farmers.
Yeah, they were farmers,
Yeah.
and I know they went and experienced some of the same things the Vikings
Yeah,
did,
they,
and so it seems like they've done a lot of research
Yeah.
to try to get it as historically accurate as possible.
That's good, because yeah, it looks like they did a really good job. And if it's actually, I mean, obviously it's Assassin's Creed, so it's not going to be perfectly historically accurate.
Yeah.
But a lot of what makes Assassin's Creed so great is their attention to detail and
Yes.
stuff like that.
I will
Like
give them
their
that.
cultural stuff, like when they went into Renaissance Italy, it was phenomenal. Like the attention to detail, having all of these random characters that are actual historical characters, and filling in bits in their real life story that's like, oh, they were in this location during this time, so this could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that was
really
one
like
of the
that they
things
do
that
stuff
And
like
then
that.
I remember seeing like a video of how, like, they made the cathedral from, what was it, Unity?
Yeah, lasers.
Yeah, of
Lasers.
of how accurate they were getting, like, of how it looked and stuff, and I thought that was really, really cool.
They actually are using the scans that they made of well, that was Notre Dame, right?
Yeah.
They're using those scans to rebuild Notre Dame after that fire that happened
that's
2 years ago,
awesome.
last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So, way to go, whoever owns
Way to go.
the actual scans. I don't know if Ubisoft owns the scans or not, but whoever owns the scans, way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things that drew me to this game to begin with, just Assassin's Creed in general, because I was watching Nick play whichever one that was in college with Ben Franklin.
Oh, I don't remember the number, but it was the one where you play during the revolution.
Yeah, and I was just like, because
Revolutionary
I
War.
love history, and that just really drew it to me. I was like, okay, like this, like Ben Franklin is in this game, like
Yeah.
just all the historical parts. Just I love.
Yeah, I didn't care much for that game, but yeah, I mean, it was
It being
like,
my first Assassin's Creed, it was great.
oh, it was 3, 3, yeah. That's what it was.
3, yeah, I was thinking 3.
I mean, because they have, so many Assassin's Creed games, it was really hard to figure out which one, because there was, 2, 3... There was 4 that were out before that one, and that one was called 3, so yeah.
Yeah. It's not
I mean,
confusing.
I played... My first one was Assassin's Creed, just the very first one. And so many people who have gone back and played that one hate it, because
yeah,
it's
from what
extremely
I've-
repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's just like... It is incredibly repetitive. But at that age, and having never played a game like that before, I
Yeah.
fell in love. And that just, launched me into the whole series. But I can see where going back and playing that, or playing a subpar game after playing some of the better games, kind of meh.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Valhalla, because I'm sure there's
Yes,
going to be
Valhalla.
there'll be an episode where we'll talk about the Assassin's Creed games. So
One thing I was interested in, I don't know if it's going to end up being great or not, is the stun system that they added in the combat. It's interesting, but from what I saw in some of the gameplay, you could just stun someone by hitting them with an arrow. Which I don't know if that would really work.
it might depend on where you hit them at.
You tell me that you get shot with an arrow.
It might be like, if you shoot them in the face with an arrow, like, you're definitely gonna stun them. Like,
Well, I feel
and
like
you
if they
might
get
kill 'em. Like,
shot
I don't know.
if they get shot in the face with an arrow, that it potentially should kill them.
If I get shot
Yeah.
anywhere with an arrow, I'm gonna be a bit stunned. Let's be honest. Like,
Like look
I
down at the arrow and be like, "Oh, would you look at that? I've been impaled."
we can't all be Boromir now. Okay.
Like, I could totally get someone, like, taking an arrow to the chest through, like, some light leather armor or something, and they're like, oh my gosh, and they, like, stop fighting for a second, and they're technically stunned.
Yeah.
I
I've
get
been
that.
impaled.
Like, 100%. And then you go in for the fun, for the Funisher. the finisher. But yeah, I don't know if that's something that can be abused, because they have had that in some games where you can just absolutely abuse stuff. So I'm curious as to how that all works out. But it is interesting, and I'm here for it.
I
I'm
just
just
like
a little hesitant.
one of the gameplays I saw, a guy was using a bow, and it was like very, very,
Very quick. It was during, I think it was like the first boss fight. I don't know if it was the first like mission where it led to the first boss fight, but yeah, the bow was very, very quick.
I like that.
So yeah, my thoughts on it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the game. But I am missing the Assassin's Creed feel for it. Honestly, the past 2 games and then this one, it really feels like to me that they were trying to create like a new IP. And I guess it wasn't working for them. They're like, you know what? Let's just slap Assassin's Creed on it, and it's going to sell. It's like, obviously, yeah, it's going to sell because you did slap Assassin's Creed on it. But it really feels like they were trying something new, and it just wasn't getting to where they wanted it. So this is what they decided to do.
Hood and a hood
Yes.
and a wrist blade on the character, and
Yes.
we're like, all right, it's an Assassin's Creed game.
Yes, because it
I can see that.
Because I miss the like the older games of like the one that I played most recently was the part of Black Flag. It was that Freedom Cry, and I was really enjoying it of scaling like the rooftops and then seeing someone and then press assassinate and then like flying down and then just like stabbing them in the back of the neck or something, and it like instantly killing them, or being in the bush whistling for them to come over and then like assassinate them and being very stealthy. And then it just like the last one of because I didn't play Odyssey, I played Origins. I can't remember if there was like where you can like instantly kill someone, like just just walk up, stealth kill, and just kind of walk away.
Yeah, the influx of random enemies throughout the world that you can't do that to is a little annoying. Like it used to be just the Templars. Like in the very first game, you had those like heavily armored Templars that you couldn't assassinate. Like you had to fight them.
Yeah.
But everyone else you could do that to. And then in the Ezio series, there were a few more, but it was mostly just the heavily armored dudes. But as you get further and further along, you've got these random people who you just can't assassinate them, or you don't get the option to. So that is a bit of an annoyance because that's the assassin weapon. That's what everyone wants to use.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can understand with, like, you know, the more powerful ones to not being able to, like, instantly assassinate them. Like, I could kind of understand. But I still, like, I really miss the, like, going into an area and I'm like, okay, I know how I want to play this. I want to be over here. I want to lure this guy over here. I want to assassinate him. I want to move over to this bush. I want to get this guy. I want to climb to this rooftop and I'm going to get the guy on the roof. And then I want to look down where the ledge is and I want to jump and assassinate him. Like, you know, the stealth way that they wanted to be where you don't get ambushed by all these people.
Yeah.
But now it just feels like with the newer things, they've like changed that combat style and all that, because like even with Valhalla, from what I've seen of gameplay, I've seen like 3 different like boss fights, and the boss fights, they look like, I guess,
Like arena fights.
yes. So I mean, if you played like other RPG games, kind of like, you know, Jedi Fallen Order, where if you have a boss fight, it's like you and them, and you are waiting for them to attack, and then you're going, then you're like going in or counterattack, or even yesterday, whenever I played the Ghost of Tsushima, I don't know if you watched that boss fight, like towards the end before I got off, it was, you know, kind of like that. It's just a one-on-one battle.
Yeah, they give you the boss arena.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, and that wasn't really a thing in the old Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
The bosses were hard to get to and hard to assassinate. But quite often, the bosses, quote unquote, the targets, you did assassinate them. You would leap off of a ledge or something.
Mm-hmm.
The actual boss level, quote unquote, of it was getting to them to the point where you could stealthily assassinate them. Now, if you wanted to do it and not get the full memory fragments, which getting the full memory fragment was always my motivation.
Yeah.
But if you didn't want to, you could run in and, you know, cause a ruckus or whatever. But sometimes you would desynchronize. And desynchronization was always a big thing. And they stopped doing a whole lot of desynchronization in the later games. Like you could basically just run through and cause chaos and do whatever because it didn't matter.
Yeah, I guess in that part of it, they were trying to make it a little bit more open.
Yeah,
instead of more
but the railroading
linear,
worked because it was the memories of your ancestors that you were in.
Yeah.
Like, it was part of the actual lore of why you got railroaded.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess it was whenever they completely changed that was whenever they went to Origins.
Was it? I didn't get to play that one.
So Unity, I think, was the same, which was crap. Syndicate, I think, was the same. I didn't play it that much. I know Lindsay and I played it some. I did play Origins. Origins was just completely different. It was a completely different game. And
Really?
it seemed... I mean, Origins and Odyssey, from what I've been told, is very similar. Just Odyssey, I think, from what I heard, was a better job. A little bit better job. But... Gotcha. I mean, it was just a completely different game. I really feel like that they should have ended it, or like not put Assassin's Creed on those games. Like they should have went with a different, you know, IP, start a new type of game.
What was so different about it that you didn't like?
I know there was a lot of problems with Origins of the I think it was the experience like wall or whatever. Like they made it where you can't really go into these certain areas because you are not a high enough level. So then you would have to turn and like try to grind out XP to get to that level to be able to go in there. And then they had different looting system, a different way that you would like with the whole weapons and all that stuff. Like I kind of like the old way, you know, I liked it. It was, you know, simple. I say simple. I mean, it reminded me of Tomb Raider and Uncharted, of how like you could flip through those different, you know, weapons or whatever. Now this is like you have to press start. You have to go in. You want this weapon over this kind of weapon. You have to equip that and stuff. Like I really feel like they could have just created a new type of RPG game, but they just, I guess it just wasn't working. They really decided let's throw Assassin's Creed on it because we don't know.
Yeah,
And
like the previous railroading to keep you from going into quote unquote higher level areas was, you haven't been here yet. Your ancestor didn't go there yet. You don't have a memory of what this place looks like.
Yeah.
So you'd try to go in, and it was like, nah, you can't. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And that makes sense in the lore. But when they're like, hey, experience, like, what the crap?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I'm still looking forward to the game because, you know, I enjoy Vikings and Assassin's Creed, but it just doesn't really feel like Assassin's Creed anymore.
Maybe you'll change your mind. I'm just excited to like throw an axe in someone's face.
No, I mean,
so.
I'm probably going to
Oh,
enjoy
it's gonna
it,
be a good game.
but
Like 100%.
it just doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It's just Valhalla.
I mean, they showed it again. It was in the original trailer, but they showed it again when he's like standing in front of I don't know who it is.
The giant monster
that was
thing.
going to kill him, and then he got distracted, and then next thing you know, secret blade in the face.
Yeah.
Like, hidden blade in the face. It's just exciting.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's going to be a good game. It's just, they're just not feeling like Assassin's Creed anymore. But
Yeah, there's a big difference from Ezio and his Brotherhood and calling them in to do stealthy assassinations and like be a baller, walking down an alleyway whistling and having people die behind you. Like it's great, but it's a huge leap to go from that
to blow
war
your Viking
have
horn.
my boys raiding this village. Like it's
Not stealthy.
It's the same flavor, but it's not the same flavor.
No, they did say there was going to be some stealth, that Vikings were stealthy.
It showed that you can, it was like environmental stealth, you know, kind of like in the old games where you put the like hood on and blend in with the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know if you could
Slinking
like
through the
do
environment.
that and then go by somebody and just, you know, stab them with, you know, your hidden blade and it would assassinate them.
Now, they may give an option to do night raids, which would be cool. I think it would be awesome to have that concept in the game of you can play it in a way where you do like day raids where you go in and you just crash everything, or night raids where you do stealthy.
Yeah.
And give players the option to play the two different ways like they've always had. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I don't know how much of it that you watched of the gameplay during their conference that they had, which I mean, I can't remember how much of they showed a little. I'm mostly thinking of the YouTube video I watched of a dude play, and it was the same dude that did the whole Watch Dogs Legion. They sent him 4 hours of someone playing it, and then he made like a 20-minute video. And then for Valhalla, he just mostly showed like the first mission that they had in there, and then it was like 2 boss fights after that. So, I mean, if you haven't watched it, I would, you know, suggest going watching it so you can kind of get a feel. I think like during the thing, I remember also they were doing things different from side missions, because you know how side missions you would go and they would give the mission and you go and do that. And then this, it was kind of like from what Ghost of Tsushima had when I was playing yesterday, where the side missions were tales. So I think that's what they are in this game as well. They're like
TALE or TAIL?
That'd be pretty fun.
TALE.
So like a little story.
Yes,
Okay.
from my understanding. And I know in those boss fights, he come across this thing. You remember watching it? It was the dead person that was like staked in the ground, and they were dead, and they were like bleeding on this thing. Yeah, and then you would like walk up to it, and it would like activate this boss fight. It was like a daughter of something, and she had in this ability where she can make like two of her or something. And then I know later the other boss fight that he faced, it was like that daughter had like lightning attacks or whatnot, and you were fighting in like a pond area. So, I mean, looks good. I will say that the actual like gameplay with the graphics, I was expecting a little bit better, especially since they are making it for the next gen consoles that are coming out later this year. I was expecting that to be a little bit better. It just, I don't know. I mean, trailers and all that stuff look, phenomenal. But, the graphics of like the characters and stuff, especially with those like little, they're not the cutscenes, but they're the little, I guess, side cutscenes, if you want to say, where it was like one character, like your character talking to an NPC or whatever. It made me feel like you're playing the old Batman games, where you could see them, like, talking back and forth, but the graphics weren't great. So that's kind of what I was getting out of it. But, I mean, whenever they did show the gameplay, it did say work in progress. So, I mean, they'll probably improve it later before it comes out.
Yeah.
So,
Like what I could see from the gameplay that they showed during the event, like the rendering, like distance wasn't very far, and it didn't seem like it was being run on something that was like handling it very well. The textures weren't great, so I'm sure they're gonna put a lot of work into that later on. Because they did show a lot in those gameplay trailers.
yeah.
So they're probably just gonna put a little polish on it, and it'll be fine. Hopefully.
All right. Now, moving on, and I'll move on to this Skull and Bones news. I don't know if they actually said it during this event, but I did see something. It was like during that same day. So I don't know if you heard. Did you ever hear anything about Skull and Bones?
No, sir.
Okay, so Skull and Bones was it was going to be a pirate game that it was just going to be ship battles. And it was from I guess like the success of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Everyone really enjoyed the ship battles that they had in there. So they're like, oh, we're going to create this new IP of, we're just going to make this game where, ship battles. And they talked about it at an E3, I don't know how long ago, I guess 2018, I think. I feel like they talked about it before, like maybe the year before. I was excited for this. And this game was supposed to already be out. And I just kept, like, wondering, hey, what's going on? Finally, they said something, and people found out, like reporters, that Ubisoft decided to reboot Skull and Bones. And I was like, okay, now it will follow a live game model with ongoing storytelling inspired by Fortnite, their story type game or whatever.
Oh, I forgot Fortnite has story mode.
Yeah, Fortnite has a story mode.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not going to prejudge it on that, because, I mean, the Fortnite story mode is, it's not bad. Like, it was different. So, if they can make it, really good, then, I'll be intrigued on it. But, let's see. According to the report, the rebooted Skull and Bones will feature a persistent persistent game world with quest characters and storylines that will drastically evolve and change over time based on the collective actions of the community, which is kind of cool. So,
So do they have a date?
date I'm not
Play
sure.
release date. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, and it was 2017 E3 that they first talked about it. But yeah, I'm excited that they are rebooting it because it was just kind of left in the dark, and I just thought maybe it was one of the games that they were deciding that they're just going to can it, and like we're never going to see it. So
Well, it kind of sounds like they decided that at some point.
yeah, but I think they were determined to get it out. So, which Will, did you ever play Black Flag?
I did.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
So you enjoyed the ship battles that you would have to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were great, man.
Yeah, so
That was a great game.
I think at first the game was just going to be an online multiplayer game where you would face other people. And I was like, okay, I mean, it's kind of cool. I probably will play it. It's not going to be like a normal game. I would want a story with it. But now that they're rebooting it where it's going to have a storyline, which I'm okay with that. And I would assume that they will have an online multiplayer game for that.
Like a battle royale with ships.
I was just thinking about that. I'm like, a battle royale with ships. I'm like, how is that going to work? Because if you get damaged, how are you going to take time to repair your ship? Which I was thinking the other week when I did play the Freedom Cry, because it is just that expansion for Black Flag, and I was on the ship and stuff, and I was like, oh, hey, pirate. Ubisoft made a better pirate game than Sea of Thieves did when it's not even a pirate game. So
Too real.
yeah. So
Shoot, Rogue is better than Sea of Thieves.
I never did get to play Rogue. I think I had it and I may have started it, but then I got rid of
A
my
lot of people
PS3.
crap on it, but it was a good.
Well, the
it was a
problem
good
was
game.
they released it at the same time as Unity. Maybe, I mean, like, I probably would have enjoyed it more than Unity, because I did not enjoy Unity at
I
all.
definitely
Was that the
did.
French one?
Do what?
Was that the French one
Yeah, Unity was the
Yeah.
French one.
that we played a little bit of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
I wanted to...
Rogue, you played as this guy. I
Didn't you
think
play as
his
like a
name's
Templar?
Shay Cormac.
Wasn't he a Templar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like at multiple times in his life, he's either an assassin, a Templar, or a pirate, or kind of a pirate. Not really a pirate, but he's on a ship and he's doing criminal things. But he's not really a pirate,
Okay.
and he's got some of the coolest like outfits, which I know is a very small and dumb detail.
I
but
mean, hey, some people like the aesthetic, so...
yeah.
I know I had one coworker, he would play a game based on aesthetics. So, yeah, so I just wanted to throw that whole Skull and Bones thing in there if, people were wondering about it, which, I was one of those people. But let's real quick talk about this Far Cry 6 trailer.
Oh snap!
Did you get to watch it?
I did.
Okay, yeah.
I did. Gus from Breaking Bad is in it.
I've never seen really Breaking Bad where he was in there, so I don't really know. But yeah. Far Cry games, let's see. I didn't really play them. I know I played a little of... I want to say it was 4. It was 3 or 4. One of those two. I haven't played... I didn't play 5. I heard a lot of people really enjoyed it. I don't really know much about the Far Cry games. I know a lot of people like them. Maybe... I don't know. There was one that I played that I really liked, and it was Far Cry Primal. That was the only one that I actually played all the way through and beat, and I platinumed it on PlayStation.
wow.
So,
Dang.
yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know much about the Far Cry games. This one, I don't know, it looked different from other ones. But I am just basing this off of...
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the trailer was interesting. If you watched it, I guess the main bad guy or whatever, the guy that you just mentioned, Will, he gives his son a grenade, and he's using a grenade as a as a lesson on, being
Not just a grenade. He had pulled the pin.
Yeah, he pulled the pin.
Let's make that clear.
Yeah, he did pull the pin, and his son was holding it, and yeah. But he was using the grenade as a lesson to teach of how he needs to, I guess, stay in control and control the people around. Because if he lets go of that, then everyone goes boom. So.
Yeah, I would not suggest taking using that in your parenting. Parenting style.
I would like to say he must have had all the trust in the world for his son to be able to hold on to that thing and not slip up. Though in the trailer he almost did fall, but that kid was terrified that whole time. You can even see it.
Dude, the whole time I was expecting him to tell the kid to throw the grenade out in the crowd.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for that.
That's what I expected at the end.
But I think at the end he said something about... I don't remember what he said exactly, but I'm pretty sure you could see the kids, his fingers loosen up, and I think he was going to drop the grenade.
Weren't they on, a bridge or something?
They're on top of a building.
Okay, yeah, and I expected, at the end, I was he wants him to just drop it.
And I think he was about to, but they cut the trailer right there. Did you ever play the Far Cry games, Will?
So there's a few game series that for some reason I never end up completing the games. And Far Cry is one of them. Just Cause is also one of them. I've played several of the Just Cause games and I've never once completed one.
Okay.
I don't know why. I enjoy the gameplay. I enjoy the story bits that I do play. I've never beaten any of them. So I'm excited. It looks really good. I have no idea what it's going to be about.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll probably know more later, because I know during the event they said that they were going to have another Ubisoft Forward later this year to talk more about, I think they were saying new games and stuff, but I would assume they would talk more about this, especially because that would be closer to the time this game will be released, because it's supposed to release in February of next year.
I believe so.
So, yeah. I'd assume that we would get some gameplay and stuff. So. But yeah, so it looks like that we are, running out of time here for today.
Well, in that case, I hope you guys have been thinking about that trivia question, because it is time for our answers. Lindsay?
Yes. Some reason my document scrolled back up to the top. Okay, here we go. So the question was, LCS, yes, is the acronym for a professional esports league centered around which game?
I think we both know this one.
Yeah, I think we both know.
So you want to just do it on 3, 1, 2, 3, and then boop, say it?
Sure.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
League of Legends.
Yes. Yeah. You both are correct. You both finally get some points.
Woo!
Yay!
Yeah, so the League of Legends Championship Series is where the LCS comes from.
Mm-hmm.
It's held annually in Berlin and Los Angeles.
And if any of y'all have never watched the LCS or anything about League, I suggest watching it. It's very fun. Obviously, it'll be better if you play the game and you know what's going on. But it's pretty awesome. I know one of our friends from college, he didn't really care much for the game League, playing it, but he would watch the tournaments, and he was very into the tournaments. So, but yeah, so as we wrap up this episode, we want you to be able to contact us and check us out on all the different media platforms. Real quick, Will, where can the listeners find you?
They can't.
Oh.
But our YouTube channel is Out of the Box Gaming. Our Discord, it will be linked on the YouTube channel, and I think it's linked in the description of each of our videos, but don't quote me on that.
Yes.
Our Instagram is OOTB_gaming. We like to keep that updated daily, and by we, I mean our wonderful producer, Lindsay. We also have Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @GamingOOTB, and again, Miss Lindsay takes care of that. And is that updated daily as well?
Which one?
Twitter.
The Twitter.
When I remember. Yeah.
Okay.
She's not as
close
active.
enough.
She's not as active on that as she is the Instagram, but that's okay.
A lot of the time when I post to Instagram, I'll have it shared to Twitter, so. Yes.
And check out our Patreon with all of the awesome perks in store for you there. And we're also looking to add some more perks, so let us know if you have any ideas for that. Yeah.
So yeah, speaking of Patreon, we do want to thank our Collector Edition Patreon, Cody Watkins. And if you want to find me, you can find me on YouTube, Mixer, which we all know Mixer is about to be over. Yeah, I think this will be the last time that we'll actually be on Mixer. You can find me also on Trovo, which is a new streaming platform, which we are streaming this on Trovo right now. And I'll try to be streaming on there more. And Twitch and Instagram at AceKingKing. And the only one that's different is going to be Twitter. It's at AceKingKing77.
Fantastic. Please make sure you leave a review on our podcast, leave a like, leave a follow, leave a subscribe. And thank you so very much for listening. And be sure to join us next week.
Yeah. This has been Out of the Box Gaming with Nate Picard and Will Kinsey. And Lindsay. Thanks for playing along.